In a new State Department report, this is a report that is sent to Congress yearly, and it's a report, it's part of the 1990 PLO Compliance Act. So it's something that Congress requires the State Department to report on to Congress. And in this report, the Biden administration omitted specific references to the Palestinian government's ongoing calls for violence, as well as its support for the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement.
This is an effort by the State Department to try to backfill Secretary Blinken's promise that he's not going to release this funding unless the Palestinian Authority reaches these metrics. Well, how do you meet these metrics? Maybe just pull them out of your report and turn a blind eye to them.
The point of what they're doing is to try to change the report by making those two omissions or to editing those out so that they can lay the predicate for funding.
Now the Biden administration just deletes it from history. Deletes it like it exists right now. It's ongoing now. It's like it never happened. It was like it was never reported to Congress.
The Palestinian Authority is simply a legal entity that's a successor to the PLO, a terrorist organization. It is not in compliance, which means it remains a terrorist organization. And the Biden administration is saying we must create a state using this organization. And so they're trying to whitewash this. They are sending them hundreds of millions of dollars, which, as we know, the Palestinian Authority is using to fund terrorists. And now they are trying to eradicate from the record the fact that this ongoing incitement and violence and payment for terror is going on.
The UN condemned the PA and Hamas for adopting school curriculum and textbooks that taught hate towards Israeli, that was akin to child abuse, is what the UN said. But yet our own State Department here is saying exactly the opposite. They're just removing it.
It is not just for political purposes. This is not just to appease some anti-Israel left in the United States. So that certainly can be part of it. It is a workaround existing U.S. law.
This is not only immoral but unlawful. There are congressional requirements. This reporting is required to be factually accurate. I think they know the Palestinians are inciting violence, so to leave that out of the report would just be to gild the lily, be to avoid the facts as they're known. There has to be a purpose for that. The purpose would be to make sure that when they go to underwrite the Palestinians, whether that's through the UN relief agency, UNRWA, that is completely corrupt, or whether it's another method that they're going to use to underwrite the Palestinian leadership, that they can say, well, we didn't violate the Taylor Force Act, something no administration wants to be on the record for, but this one appears intent on doing.
A deliberate move to subvert U.S. law that would prevent the funding going to the Palestinian Authority if you acknowledge these acts of terror and the promotion of terror, the boycott, divestment, sanctions movement against Israel, because the Taylor Force Act. And again, taking a report and basically copying and pasting it, but deleting key provisions, not by accident, not just for political purposes to send a message about what they think about the Palestinians, but intentionally.